all about paper for Perler bead projects.
Hello, craft enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into a common question in the Perler bead community. Can I use other types of paper besides parchment paper for my Perler bead projects? It's a great question, as we all know how essential the right type of paper is in achieving a successful result.
Why do we use paper in Perler bead projects?
First off, let's touch on why we use paper in Perler bead projects. When creating designs with Perler beads, we need to use an iron to melt the beads together. The paper is placed between the iron and the beads to prevent the beads from directly contacting the iron, which could cause them to melt unevenly or stick to the iron. Parchment paper is often recommended because it's heat-resistant and allows for even heat distribution.
What other types of paper can be used?
While parchment paper is commonly used, it's not the only option. Let's take a look at some alternatives. 1. Wax paper. This is a commonly suggested alternative to parchment paper. However, it's important to note that wax paper can sometimes stick to the beads or the iron, as it's not as heat-resistant as parchment paper. It could potentially leave a waxy residue on your iron. 2. Ironing paper. Ironing paper is specifically designed for craft projects like this and can be a good alternative. It's heat-resistant and reusable, making it a cost-effective choice. 3. Baking paper. Sometimes confused with parchment paper, baking paper can also be used. It's similar to parchment paper but may not be as non-stick or heat-resistant, so use with caution. Remember, never use regular printer or notebook paper as they may burn under the high heat of the iron and could potentially start a fire.
Are there any downsides to using alternatives?
While alternatives to parchment paper exist, each comes with its own set of challenges. Wax paper, for instance, can leave residue on your iron or beads. Ironing paper and baking paper may not distribute heat as evenly as parchment paper, potentially leading to unevenly melted beads. Thus, while you can use these alternatives, they may not yield as consistent or high-quality results as parchment paper. To wrap up, while parchment paper is the most commonly recommended type of paper for Perler bead projects, you do have some alternatives. However, keep in mind that these alternatives may not perform as well as parchment paper, so use them with caution. As always, safety should be your top priority, so never use regular paper that could catch fire. We hope this video has been helpful, and happy crafting!